evening, everyone, and do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. So, tonight we're here to review the much awaited new edition of Liber ABA, also known as Book 4 by Aleister Crowley, and you might even know by his even more famous name, which is Magic. Before we get into that, if you want to support me, you can join me on Patreon, patreon.com/Marco Visconti. We have a lot of fun. However, from tonight we're gonna do this thing here on IGTV because I feel that lots of you might be interested in knowing that this book does exist, why it's been so difficult to get it out in the press, where you might still not be able to get it, and if it's any good. So, without further ado, here it is. It does exist. It is indeed a nice mammoth of a book, and it's a good one. So let's cut to the chase and say this is a very good book. This is the kind of stuff we needed for a long time. Some of you might have what we know as the blue brick. Some of you might have wanted for a long time, and I'm going to tell you how the two compare. But first of all, let's see them one near the other. So this is the blue brick, second edition, the one that came out in 1997, and this has been, so far, let me just put this out, these books are really massive, so it's difficult to manipulate, to keep it on here. So these books have been, this one has been like the definitive edition of Liber ABA Book 4 Magic since 1997. There's never been another edition because so far this really felt like the definitive one, right? The only thing you might have wanted is maybe go and get a fancy first edition. I used to have a 1929 subscriber edition of Magic, and it's beautiful, of course. I mean, it's an antique and everything. I don't have it anymore. I might be going back and look for another again because it's nice to have it. But you know, those, if you can find it a nice first edition, those goes for thousands of pounds. The one I had was 1929 Lecaram Press Rebound, and it went for like 1,200 more or less. Which you can think it's a lot of money, but you know, it's an antiquarian book at the end of the day. This edition here was edited by Hymenaeus Beta, also whose real name is William Breeze, and Hymenaeus Beta is the current leader, worldwide leader of Ordo Templi Orientis. So this is a very good edition. I would not deny that. As much as some of you might know, I used to be a member of the ODO. I'm not anymore. I'm very critical of the ODO, and I'm very critical of Bill Breeze. I think he is an incompetent as a leader. But he did an amazing job with this one. Okay, the quality of this book is outstanding too, and you'll see why I start from this before we move to the one we want to review. The quality of this book is outstanding. The binding is fantastic. The dust jacket is great. You open it, you have a nice, gilded covers, very beautiful. It's vellum bound. It's a cloth bound, but really nice. It reads very well. You can open it, you can read it. The quality of the paper is fantastic. It's a fantastic edition. It also comes with a price. When I bought it I bought this one in 2010. This was $90 US. I think the price dropped a little bit ever since, but not much. I think it's around, maybe it goes for £80 in the UK right now. So it's an expensive book. It is very worth it if you're a Thelemite and if you want to have an edition of Liber ABA, which you should have really if you're a Thelemite. Also, the editorial content in this one is really good. However, it's incredibly OTO-centric, as you can imagine. Like, Breeze speaks of himself as the worldwide leader, as this almost like this mythical, exalted master, which, well, is definitely not any of that. And you will see that when the book proper starts, here, I'll find it, there you go, you will find what we call, I hope you can see it, you can find an imprimatur. This is something you'll find in every official publication in Thelema, and an imprimatur says, by whom authority is this book issued, and of course These books are always issued by authority of the AA, but the three names you find on top, those are the names of, respectively, Martin Starr, Martin Starr, Bill Breeze, and J. Daniel Gunther. Because of course, I mean, as Martin Starr is not a member of that AA cult anymore. The other two still there wrecking damage. So they pretty much say, it's our authority. This is a good one. This was also the only one we had in a long time, and the price was, as I said, prohibitive for a lot of people. Now, in recent years, since 2017 onward, you might have noticed that there's been a lot of edition of Magic surfacing out of sudden, usually on Lulu.com, from time to time on Amazon on print. The reason being is that Crowley's literary estate, Crowley's copyrights, expired in most part of the world. I'm going to get back to that in a second. In 2017, that was like 70 years after his death in 47. This is not true for the United States. The United States copyright is much more complex, and the reason why you won't maybe find the new edition of Magic sold in Amazon US, for instance, it's because of this reason. Now, I was talking to, the High Priest of the Temple of Set, of all people, and he explained me more details about this, these copyright issues. The sad reality is that for you guys in the United States, you might be out of luck till 2042 or something like that. Still a bit ahead of time. And the big problem is that the OTO has done nothing to publish books. We don't know why. When I was a member of the OTO, I was involved in trying to translate things, in trying to help with editing, in my little as little as I could. I know that there's been a lot of work done in not so much in Magic per se, because Magic, it's really good. That edition was the definitive edition up until the new one came out, I would say. But we were trying to get out Magic Without Tears, we were trying to get out other publication, nothing ever happened. I don't know why. Apart from the fact that Bill Breeze is an incompetent idiot, that's all I can say, really. The good news is that since the copyright issue is so weird around the world, outside of the US, now you can really print and edit and get out editions of a lot of books, pretty much everything, okay? And now we come to, of course, our friend today. You will see that the title is a little bit different, I guess because they wanted to have a different, they wanted to pretty much establish their edition. It's called 4 Books of Magic. It kind of reminds me of, 4 Books of Occult Philosophy by Cornelius Agrippa. I guess this is what Skinner wanted to call it, 4 Books of Magic. If you were wondering why this book is even called Book 4, all the AA imprinted libri, they always have like a Latin title. This was called Liber ABA. ABA, it's Aleph, Bet, Aleph, means 4, the idea of the 4 elements, the idea of stability, the idea that this book is the cornerstone of Magic with the K. Magic with the K, it's important to mention that because Magic with the K is a specific kind of magic that you do in Thelema. If you never knew that, now you know. Of course, there's been an implication of the K being the 11th letter, the 11 being the number of magic, the K being the start of the Greek word ktes, which means vulva, the idea of, sex magic being involved into that. We can have a discussion on that another day, maybe on Patreon. Join us on Patreon. We do those discussions all the time. Is this book good? Let's start first of all with the quality of the book itself. This is a cheap book, okay? This goes for £45 or 65 US dollars, 70 Canadian. This is pretty much, what is that, like around 20, 30 less than the other one. Actually, right now on Amazon UK, you can get this for 35 even. They're running like a discount both on this one and on the Blue Brick. I don't know how we're gonna call this. That one was came to be known as the Blue Brick. How are we gonna call this? The Black Brick. We have the Golden Dome book, which is already called the Black Brick. This is 4 Books of Magic. I'll say we'll call it the Skinner edition. The fact that this costs less means that the quality of the printing, the quality of the edition itself is not as stellar as the previous one. The cover is thin, it's plasticky. The paper, it's really not good, I must say, I'm sorry. It's not amazing. It doesn't smell good. I mean, usually you want it to smell good. The pictures are okay, but they are not as detailed as the other one. The other one has some very nice color picture. This has no color pictures. The typesetting is okay. It's not as good as the other one. The other one is a better book, if you want to say, right? Now, this is for when it comes to the item itself, the book itself. Now, the content is really good. The editorial content of this one spans for the first 40, sorry, more. I mean, it's like, let me see. The first 50 pages are editorial content. And if you don't know anything about Thelema, if you don't know anything about Crowley, and you pick this one, in those early 50 pages of editorial content at the beginning, that might be good. You might get a good idea of what Thelema and Crowley are about, if you never read about anything, because Skinner did a very good job in synthesizing in relatively only 50 pages, all that you need to know if you never heard of it before. Whereby, on the other side, the Breeze edition, the Blue Brick, really is written by a Thelemite for Thelemites, it's very pompous, it's very self-aggrandizing. It is good, but if you're a complete newcomer, you might just say, I don't know anything about this thing. The Blue Brick pretends like the original book, like the first edition, like Crowley was writing for his students, really. The same feels like Breeze is writing for Thelemites. Skinner is not. Skinner is writing for everybody, and there's also a very neat. Let me see. There's also a very neat chronology of Crowley's time at the end of this. I cannot find it. I'm always terrible. There you go. You can find it here. I don't know if you can see it. There's a nice chronology of Crowley's time. The Crowley chronology, which it's very useful to place things on a time scale. I like a lot to place things on a time scale. I often teach that time doesn't exist, but as we still live and breathe in a space-time continuum, it's good to have an idea of how history unfolded. Because one of the big problems you have in Thelema is that from time to time you read sound bites of people commenting on Crowley here and there, never putting those thoughts on a timeline, and oftentimes you hear ideas. For instance, like Crowley thought that the Holy Guardian Angel was part of the higher self, part of your psyche. Well, Crowley thought about that at the beginning of his life. At the end of his life, he was adamant that the Holy Guardian Angel is something external. You'll find out eventually that something external is God, what we call God, Adonai. If you don't know these things, if you don't have a chronology, and of course this chronology is just a very general one, but it kind of gives you an idea of how Crowley evolved his thought over time, and I think that's very useful. By the way, thank you all for you joining here, a lot of new people here, and welcome. This is pretty much a little glimpse of what we do on Patreon every week, so join us there, or buy badges here, support me somehow. Anyway, I was saying, like, editorial content, very good. The notes are good. The notes are not as extended as what you would find in the Blue Brick. The Blue Brick notes are phenomenal, okay? They're very technical, however. Like, they really go into the super details, because once again, it feels like the Blue Brick is written by a Thelemite for Thelemites. These notes, Skinner did a fantastic job in trying to expand and go deeper into some points. And from time to time, like here, you can see notes takes even like quarter of the page, half the page from time to time. So it's not like is not going in detail. However, they're more generalistic. I think if you never read Crowley, if you never read Thelema, if you never applied yourself to these ideas, this philosophy, this practice, you'll make sense of it. This is a good introduction. It's a good journalistic editing and a good journalistic edition. So what else to add? I think that if you are serious about studying Telema, you need this book. It is £60. Sorry, it is $65 US and 45 pounds. It is not a cheap book, and it's not a specifically nice book. It's very plasticky. It's very. It doesn't really open well. You know, you open like this. It's a bit difficult. You always have to keep your hands behind it, unless you want to just crack it open. Now, don't do that. Every time you do that, you know, an angel die or something like that. A demon cries or something like that. Don't do that to books, please. However, you might want to get this book if you're serious about Telema. Now, if you're really serious about Telema, I feel you should get both, because both will really give you the wider breadth of editorial content available right now. One done by Dr. Steven Skinner, who is a fantastic writer and who is somebody who really understands magic, and the other done by somebody who the only achievement in his life has been doing that edition, from me, that's my opinion, of course, but he did a very good job on that edition. Of course, that was in 1997. He was supposed to release something like another 50 books in the intervening times, and he didn't. So that's his biggest failure. But Breeze did a fantastic job in editing the Blue Brick. So that's my review, I would say. It's good that we have this one. If you're in the United States, you might have trouble getting it from Amazon, but you can order it from Amazon Canada. You can order it from Amazon UK. You can get it. This is published by Watkins. Watkins is, it's one of the 3 bookstores esoteric bookstores in London. I used to work at Threadwell's. Then there is Atlantis, and then there is Watkins. Watkins is the oldest, and maybe it's not the oldest. It's definitely the biggest, though. Atlantis is the oldest. And I never knew they had an imprint down the Doo. You might be able to order from them directly. I mean, I'm pretty sure they do ship around the globe. We used to ship around the globe when I was at Threadwell, so it's definitely doable. Thank you for joining. Once again, if you want more of this, find me and my community on Patreon at www.patreon.com/Marco Visconti, and we have a lot offering from over. I guess we have 26 magical lessons, almost over 100 hours of recorded videos, and weekly live streams. Yeah, we have a lot of stuff. So just join us there. We have fun. Thank you again, and do what the will shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law, love and the will.